Hello everyone and welcome back to Tomb at a Time, the real-time D&D adventure where you too can be a part of the fun. For those who missed it last time, those who tune into our live sessions hosted on Sundays over on Twitch can redeem Streamloots cards that can help, hurt, or just throw some randomness into the battlefield for our dear players. And, of course, if you missed the last session and want to catch up, VODs are uploaded to YouTube, but don't worry, we have a recap that'll bring you up to speed. So, starting left to right, would my players please introduce yourselves and just call out the name of your characters?
Alright, that's me. I am Tavern Cat Records, otherwise known as Ben, but I also am playing Jackson Mulligan.
Hello, I am Chaos Chest, also known as Noid, and I am playing Q.
Hello, I am producer Moose, also known as Moose Productions, or Moose the Owlbear, and I will be playing Electress.
Hello, I am Firefox, also known as Fire, and I am playing Talia Kemridge.
Don't mind me, I forgot to pin the credits to the top of the chat. Okay.
Shh, it's okay.
Shh, no scuff, no scuff. Nothing's wrong, nothing at all. But anyway. And I am Miguel, your friendly neighborhood werewolf, and this series, Dungeon Master. Now, before we get to the recap, since this is our first follow-up session, we do recaps a little differently in this series. Basically, if one player manages to recap at least 80% of the last episode using either their notes or just memory, they get a cheese ball, which is basically a DM inspiration, which is advantage on one check, save, or attack. You can use it at any time, or you can give it to another player character. Whoever volunteers can call out on the other players or the audience members for help. To my audience, please refrain from blurting out the answers in chat unless the players ask for it. But, with that being said, who wants to do the recap?
I can do the recap because I've actually written out the recap in character.
Oh boy.
It's gonna probably take a little while, but I shall read it out either way. So, this is Diary of a Displaced, Day 1. Never thought I'd be writing in a diary before, but it's best I actually have this note down in case I ever want to make it back home, if it's even possible. Anyway, I'm going to start from the beginning of this crazy journey of me and my companions. Hi, my name is Q, and I'm from either a different dimension or time altogether, and I'm partnered up with 4 others in a similar situation to myself. At the moment, we don't have much of a clue as to how we were plucked to where we are now, though we do have our theories. To start from the beginning, myself and my 4 companions found ourselves in these strange cocoons made of some kind of silk. 2 of my now companions, then strangers, had managed to get themselves out of their cocoon pods while I was struggling to get out of my own. Thankfully, one of the 2, an elf looking man, managed to pull me out of mine, which I was thankful for, though his comment about me feeling frigid to the touch got me pretty worried. Once I had a chance to catch my bearings a bit more, I noticed the other person who had been freed, an anthropomorphic fox man, was trying to work the computer, but was apparently failing miserably. Walking over to the odd computer inside the fleshy cocoon room, still trying to forget the sensation on my feet, I questioned the foxman's capability to read English, which is when he informed me that he, along with apparently me, spoke Schminglish. I have no idea if I wrote that correctly, but I shuddered to ask him to spell, God forbid, write it out for me. Just seeing the bastardization of English nearly broke my brain at that moment. That aside, I tried to use the computer to open up the rest of the pods, but somehow I managed to unplug the keyboard through some manner of divine comedy against my better nature, which is when the 3rd of my traveling companions got out of her pod. I'm pretty sure she's female, given her form and sound of her voice, and the fact that she hasn't caved my face in for calling her the improper pronoun. Anyhow, she seemed to be the military type, given how quickly she took charge of the situation once she freed herself from her pod. At that point, she was some sort of goop person, and if I were to use my knowledge of D&D at all, I'd say she was a plasmoid, though I can't be 100% sure. I didn't exactly read through the books on the net thoroughly enough before I got stuck here. Anyway, not long after she got free, our fifth and last companion broke out of their pod, and given how clumsily he got out of there at that moment, I'd say he wasn't exactly used to having four arms and a bug-like body. He is rather tall and insectoid, though, given what he told us about how our bodies got made, his appearance wasn't really a choice of his. After a small bit of exposition about a person known as the Spider, I managed to plug the keyboard back in, guess the idiotically simple password, and got us a map to use. Interestingly, said map got transferred into the mind of our bug friend, the through which we made our way to the armory to get geared up. Somewhere along the way, I managed to get some of my old clothes back, which thankfully still fit me, and my coin, which I had brought with me on the day that I. Never mind that. Once geared up, we headed further into the ship in the direction of where we could leave, when on the way we ran into three bug people like our companion, though their intentions were a lot more hostile than his. So, much to my personal regret, we had to fight and kill our way through them. That was the first time I'd ever killed a living being other than small insects, and yet I didn't feel remorse. In fact, I felt a small bit of glee, especially once I caught a whiff of their blood. Once the battle was over, and I took a moment to replace my broken blade made out of a rather sturdy carapace, I hung back from my party because my instincts were screaming at me to feed myself. And after carving out one of the dead bug people's arteries, I dug in, so to speak. And the nectar I drank was so sweet, like honey from the best beekeepers on the market. So smooth, so clear, so bloody. I'm fairly certain of what I was turned into, and that thought terrifies me. I'm pretty sure that our military goop lady has suspicions about what I am, but I've been too anxious and afraid of saying what I am that I don't want it to be a reality. After rinsing myself of the bug person's blood, both from my lips and armor, I got back to the party. The fox person questioned why I was all wet, and at the moment I made up a believable enough lie about accidentally bursting one of those veins on the floor that were actually water pipes with the new blade I picked up, though I've got a feeling that the goop lady didn't quite believe me. I'm just thankful that I was awkward enough in combat for it to actually be a believable enough lie. Going further into the ship, we found what looked like an escape pod room, as our bug friend made mention of, and there we also found more people or creatures like him, though along with two bronze bugs, there were a good number of gray bugs and one green bug. The green one seemed to be the commander, and it was this commander that initiated combat with us. This bout of combat was a bit more deadly than the last one, and somehow a bit more chaotic too. First, our fox friend got down with a pistol shot from the green commander. I tried to take out one of the bronze bugs and was taken by an urge to bite into and try to rip out its throat, but its carapace was too hard for my fangs to pierce through. Before I got the chance to try and stab it again, our bug friend suddenly got transformed into a pterodactyl and squashed the one I was in combat with. With my then foe no longer an issue, I went to combat with the commander, and while I didn't quite do too much damage to them, I at least distracted it enough that our fox friend managed to finish them off. With the danger past, I started to relax a bit when our goop friend got down onto the floor I was at and trained her carapace rifle at one of the worker bugs, though was then persuaded not to end them since we still needed a way off the ship by our own bug friend. he and the worker bug talked about something before giving the go-ahead to get into the pods, and holy shit, the fall from however high we were. I thought I was gonna lose whatever lunch I managed to get once we were finally landed back on solid, non-fleshy ground. That was way worse than the one thrill ride I got on during a trip to an amusement park. Not soon after we landed, we managed to camp, and our goop friend managed to catch us some dinner in the form of a warthog. And with a look and a comment my way, I asked if the blood of the hog could be stored somewhere. After a few moments of thinking and remembering back to the one bug I opened up, I asked our bug friend if he could store the blood himself, referring back to mosquitoes and their ability to store up the blood they suck up from humans in a special organ sac in them for transport purposes. He could, though I feel really bad having to have asked him to do that. Once we made camp, we started to have some light conversation around the fire and finally started to introduce one another. I introduced myself as Q, an alias opposed to my actual name, and our bug friend gave the name Xerxes, with the explanation that his own name was rather hard to pronounce. He said that he came from the year 2050, which wasn't too far from my own time of 2024, though I obviously am not here. I'm not there to make it all the way to 2050 anymore. Our fox friend later introduced himself as Jackson Jack Mulligan and is apparently from the year 2100, which is way in my own future that I would not even live to see. Our goop friend introduced herself as Talia and is from the 42nd millennia, a world that I only know of thanks to a fictional work known as Warhammer 40,000, though usually abbreviated to Warhammer 40k. I'm pretty sure I accidentally gave her an existential crisis by mentioning the Imperium of Man, Orcs, Tau, Tyranid, and the Warp, which I only really have tangential knowledge of, but I still feel bad. I always had a feeling that there were works of fiction in my time, that the works of fiction in my time could actually exist somewhere else, but to know that it actually is the case, and I gave someone from said fiction worry over their worldview was incorrect, I feel like I really shouldn't have made mention of it at all. Lastly, our elf-looking friend introduced himself as Eletris, claiming to be from 2012, which is a dozen years in my past, though his memories of his time alive seem to be hazy. What he does know is that he was a chef from when he was still back at home, though from what he and everyone else have been insinuating, they all died in one way or another, which would mean that what I experienced prior to waking up wasn't. Anyway, once we all introduced ourselves properly and had some stuff to eat, we decided to call it a day and get some sleep in. Given that we were in a forest mostly filled with predators of the like, we weren't going to stick around the area for long once we woke up. Though Talia and Xerxes were our only military trained people, Xerxes did mention that we had capabilities that we all probably weren't aware of, which made some sense given how apparently comfortable I was wielding a shield, a sword, and some rather heavy armor. I probably won't be sneaking with this stuff on me anytime soon. In any case, that was day one of our impromptu adventure together in this rather seemingly fantastical world. I'll jot down some more notes as I remember them. And that is the recap.
Beautiful.
Excellent job.
Whoa!
You get a cheese ball, and I look forward to more of Q's musings on his adventure.
Me too.
There is also a slight not recap related note. This is a personal note, along with a crude headshot drawing of Xerxes. His character is having what amounts to an amateurish anime-esque shimmer. I'm not going to say this out loud, possibly ever, but it looks rather pretty when his character shines like that.
I knew it!
He gave the bug
Okay.
man.
Gay?
Yes, very.
All of the players just pointing at Q, just like, gay! Gay! Like that one bald bit from the SpongeBob movie.
God.
See, the beautiful thing is, I really doubt that's going to like affect Talia, if at all. Like, just gonna be like a, okay, and so I mean, you got that at least. Hey.
Talia can't be homophobic because she's got way too much shit to worry about.
Well, just in general,
Yeah.
just like a, okay, and it doesn't impact anything major, quote unquote, in her view. To be fair, she comes from a fucked up time. So
That's a bit of an understatement considering, you know, the world of 40K.
yeah. So it's just like a, okay, cool.
Oh,
Like,
man.
so you know, there's that.
Yeah.
God, because I
Also,
just... Oh, sorry.
once Q gets access to his diary, he is writing all of this in Finnish. So technically, he's the only one that can read it outside of the spell.
I don't think anybody here can actually cast comprehend languages.
I don't think so.
Not
No.
yet,
Not
anyway.
here, but that doesn't mean that in the future there might not be someone who could.
Oh god, a classic wolf mode during D&D.
Oh boy.
Oh.
Please hold. I need to... Is this acceptable?
Hey.
There we go.
Anyway,
I
I
will
guess
say,
I guess I'm this way now.
yeah. I was gonna say I will be trying to get Talia's thoughts caught up because I have an idea for how I want to present it, and it would be written in symbols that y'all would not recognize.
Yep.
Xerxes dances his thoughts away. He's technically a form of bee.
Dancy. I just have this image of Xerxes just like doing a little dance. Everyone just kind of looks just like, either you're trying to tell us something, or you've got a very particular itch.
God.
Today's going to be an interesting session. But anyway, focus mode. Gotta use my brain.
Big brain time.
It's big brain
Time to lock in.
So, as Q said, the last time you all settled down for camp, it was actually a few hours before dawn. You observed the crescent sun rise, the light in the world no greater than the late afternoon. Despite this, the jungle is hot and muggy, and you can almost feel the choking humidity fill your lungs. The skies are clear, save for a few cirrus clouds that flutter along. In the distance, you see more ships akin to the one that you fell from, purple dots distant like gnats, seemingly caught in a battle far, far to the south. You begin your journey, traveling until about noontime, when you finally break through the trees. A large plain looking out to a sparkling bay. Sea winds blow as the grass of the plains flow. Wooden ships with bright white sails sail within the bay, fishing within the sea. Though it's several hours' walk away, you can see a hint of a city. This is a perfect time for an effort to come in.
Oh, come on.
I'm not trying to break the flow too much, but there's like a really important bit that people are missing out.
Ah.
Well, let's wait for a bit.
So what are you guys doing during your little lunch break? Your sign of exasperation says everything.
Yeah.
It was more like, how do I phrase Q asking for Xerxes to deposit some of the blood collected into makeshift mug?
See, my mental image was... Actually, never mind. I'm just gonna let you do your thing.
Yeah, so, I think after some small amount of time workshopping, Q would have managed to make like a crude but serviceable enough wooden cup or mug, and walked up to Xerxes with a slight tap on their arm and was like, could you deposit some of the blood you have into this?"
That's when Xerxes looks at the mug for a moment. He kind of lifts it up, is just like, this kind of wood will be poisonous if you eat anything from it.
There is a long fucking sigh from Talia.
Well, at least we know that now. Thanks,
Mm.
thanks for letting us know that.
Can she do a perception/survival to try to find wood that's not going to poison him?
I will let you roll a survival check, yes. I will move us over to the big map.
So, if I'm understanding correctly, we're like here-ish.
You're about here. So you're not too far. It's a limit of 2 to 3 hexes a day, depending on what you're looking at. So, but
Got it.
so Talia, you kind of rummage around a little bit, and you manage to find what's essentially like a pitcher plant. It's not going to work as a long-term solution, but it would be able to hold liquid for Q to drink from.
So Talia shifts one of her appendages into like a knife shape and collects the pitcher plant, making sure not to let it drain out or perforate. And comes back and holds out to Q, is like, we're gonna have to try to find something a little more long term, but this is one of the safer bets at the moment. Ooh, can I hold on to that +4?
You can hold on to that +4.
Yes!
Oh, thank you. He takes the plant and goes to make the same request from Xerxes again.
That's when you see Xerxes just stick his little butterfly proboscis into it, and he fills it up with a little bit of blood, and is just like, "Just tell me when."
As full as you can make it.
That's when he continues to fill it, and he kind of like squeezes the top so it doesn't flow out before passing it to you.
God, it's like an espresso machine sound.
It bubbles a little bit.
Thanks. He takes the plant.
I
Holds
want
it for a moment. The bites into it.
What was that?
He holds the plant for a moment, thinks about it, and then just bites into it.
Bro's making it into a plant Capri Sun. But yeah, Q, you're getting your fill of blood. What's the rest of the party doing?
So I actually do have something for Eletris.
Go on.
At the strange display of, Q receiving the blood and eating the plant, it does make Eletris think of something, especially like, it's in regards to the matter of food. Because the boar that we were able to kill, the meat from that is only going to last so long, and we've probably gone through a significant portion of it already. We do need to get to town, but should we not be able to find sustenance there, we need to figure something out. And through that desire to help provide for the group, to provide sustenance, to make sure no one goes hungry, he is going to find himself expending energy. He's going to use a spell slot, and he is going to cast Goodberry.
Ooh.
Would you like me to flavor that for fun?
Yes, please.
All right, so Eletris, you are kind of sitting. You're sitting on a stone right now, and you're watching as Q goes about having. I guess you could call it his liquid diet meal, and you're kind of looking into the various berries and other things around here. This land, despite the fact that it's not remind me, is he from London?
He's from Paris.
Okay, Paris. Despite the fact that you feel like you spent your entire life in Paris, this place feels familiar to you. You recognize a lot of the plants, the smells, the trees. It's like a childhood memory almost. And as you pull up a sprig of what looks to be wild berries, you note that they are poisonous, but as you wrap your fingers around them, their colors seem to change and the vine grows, and 10 golden berries stand in their place.
Eletris just kind of, he looks at the berries in his hand and just thinks to himself, just, that's certainly interesting. Did I do that? I'm fairly certain I couldn't do that before. Why? What's different?
I assume he's thinking these thoughts to himself.
Yeah. This is not out loud. No, this is like within his own mind. But yeah, he's going to take the berries and he's going to take them to the rest of the group, and he's going to present them to Xerxes and just ask, do these look familiar by any chance?
That's when Xerxes plucks one of them from the stem, and you kind of see his you see the tips of his antennae tap at them. These don't exist anywhere. These are new.
Well, they used to be something else. They were some kind of, I think they were poisonous berries. Somehow I seem to recognize them as such, but when I touched these, they turned into these. I tried it again with another set of them, but only 10 of them changed.
That's when he thinks to himself, maybe someone in that city knows something. This place is foreign to all of us, but maybe this is normal here?
Maybe. Well, I guess we can try these, or we can keep these as emergency rations if we run out of food before then. Or if we can't find food in town.
They don't.
Sounds like a good idea.
They don't smell poisonous, but I've never seen actually golden fruit before.
Well, I remember working with gold leaf back when I was a chef. Maybe this is, I hesitate to say naturally occurring because I saw these change before my eyes, but maybe that's all it is.
It's actually interesting to see this happen naturally instead of just reading about it.
Reading about it?
Well, that spell, I have to assume that it reminds me of a spell known as Goodberry from a game that I used to play with some friends of mine.
That's
We're
when
going
you
full-
see. Go ahead.
We're going full meta with this, aren't we? Okay.
I mean, in an isekai setting, Q is the self-insert trope.
Yes, though he will not know everything, he knows a decent bit.
Talia is just staring at those berries. First, she had been looking at Q with a very unreadable expression, but you get the idea that she is watching you very carefully. But when those berries come up, like you'll know the expression that Frollo makes when he first sees Esmeralda pull her shit,
Oh my
the
god.
witchcraft. Fucking
Witchcraft.
yeah, got a very similar kind of expression, but it quickly morphs into a very thoughtful one. It's just. So you're saying that wherever we are, it's close to another thing you just so happen to be aware of?
Well, this one's one that I was actively uh, participating with, not just a thing that I was aware of. It was actually a thing that brought me quite a few of my friends. So, I suppose. Nah, never mind.
If Talia's eyes could narrow, they would.
I mean, you do like have sort of pseudo eyelids. It's just you'd see
Yeah.
the little crease get smaller, but you can still see her like eye orbs.
Yeah.
The eye orbs.
I'm not that untrustworthy, am I?
Let me just try to make you see from my perspective for a moment. I'm not in an unfamiliar place for more than a few moments before an assertion is made that the reality I'm familiar with is nothing but a fiction. And then I'm hearing that another fiction just so happens to be this reality. And they're both things that you're familiar with.
Well, clearly, they're not fiction. It's happening right in front of our eyes. It can't be fiction anymore.
I'm just saying, so far, the connecting thread is one thing. And it's. She pauses and just kind of tilts her head. Is there anything else that you can think of at the moment that we should be aware of then?
In regards to what?
Just kind of makes a general sweep towards everyone, just.
Not really sure. I'm not entirely sure what Jackson is, or Jack is.
You can just call me Jax. That's what most people call me.
Okay. I'm not entirely sure what Jack is. I don't really know what Electris is, and I can only make a guess as to what you are. Talia, and our surroundings, I don't know, but given the small display of magic right then, I can only assume that it was from a game known in my time as Dungeons and Dragons. It's a sort of fantasy game with swords and sorcery and all sorts of mythical beasts.
I have something if we're ready to move on.
Sure.
Okay, it's very relevant to the current conversation and it might answer a lot of questions.
I was debating on having a bit with Jackson here and that, so I've heard of that, but I want to see where this goes first. So,
Okay, I'll tell you what.
Just give 1 second. Moose had to step away for a moment.
okay.
I'll tell you all what. Electors probably would not know about Dungeons and Dragons, but Jack and Talia make a history check. Talia, I need you to do it at a disadvantage since you're so far in the future.
Oh dear God. Okay.
History. Seven.
Holy
Holy
hell!
What?
shit! That 20!
What? I'm
Oh
at
my
disadvantage too.
Disadvantage doubled at 20. What the hell?
What?
This has happened, I think, twice in the past 2 sessions.
God.
Oh man.
Once for
I
me
was
and once for
prepared
Talia.
for not one. I look away from it because I roll it. I'm like, okay, let me look at the chat and see what it is. What?
Christ.
Alright, Jack, what's a Dungeon and Dragon? Is that a kind of food? And
I swear I've heard of that before. It's at the very tip of my tongue.
you taste the slightest hint of smoked beef.
Oh no.
And no, you're not having a stroke. But anyway, Talia, you think to yourself. You think really, really hard. And then you recall a fraction of history before the wars, long, long ago, basically ancient history. Museums tell of tomes, of stories crafted by men of old, bound in paper and cardboard and leather. They use strange polyhedral objects and roll them around. And for some reason, it's entertaining to them?
You're gonna Q especially is going to notice because her brow, quote unquote, like her face scrunches a bit as she's thinking, and then there's just going to be a moment where you just see unmistakable realization cross her face. Just, are you talking about those ancient tomes?
Well, for the most part, they were printed as books, yes.
And you had to roll these different sided objects, aye?
You talk about dice?
I don't know what the damn things are called. I just know that they're objects. And she's not like angry. It's just like a, how the fuck would I know? I barely recall this this little tidbit.
Well,
I'm gonna let you guys keep going, I'll be right back.
well, they were called dice. Still are, as far as I know.
She's actively rubbing her face and just.
Oh wait, this does sound familiar. think it got canceled like about 20 years ago in my time.
I just okay. So, tomes of entertainment are somehow connected to this.
From what I'm able to tell, they seem to be connected in some way. Can tell you how exactly, but well, what else am I supposed to call this?
She just kind of shakes her head, but it's clear she's not irritated at you. At least it doesn't seem to be the case. Just all right. If you happen to recall anything else that seems to be connected, at play, I think it's in the best interest that we all are aware. Especially because we still don't know exactly where we are and why.
Right. If I come to a revelation, I'll let you know as far as I myself am aware. Because even though I know the game, I don't know everything about the game. If that makes sense.
She's gonna look at Q for a moment before just giving a nod, just like, so you're more of a casual practitioner than a scholar, then.
Is partially in between, I suppose.
You haven't truly studied the D&D.
Yeah.
That's the best way she can phrase it from her experiences. Come on.
Yeah. I haven't
Sal-
fully studied every little minute detail, but I do know the rules as far as I've understood them.
This has been very entertaining to watch.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad, and I'm still in disbelief. Don't mind me; it'll wear off in a moment. I feel like I need to snip that because that's some divine intervention shit.
The
like
fourth
actual
wall
God
paper
coming down.
thing. About that, I guess now's the perfect time to move the plot along, right?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I was about to
Yeah,
ask.
of course.
I was about to ask. While everyone's like discussing this, can Jackson like get a better look at the town from the distance that we're at to see like what we're kind of walking into, like in terms of like structures and stuff like that?
You can't quite tell from here, unfortunately. It is like each of these hexes is about 20 miles kind of situation.
Fair.
Or 10 miles. But as you guys are in the midst of arguing about this weird meta Deus Ex Machina tropey bullshit, you hear a loud crack of thunder. A ring of storm clouds appear almost out of the ether, and they start to circle around you, darkening the skies. All
shit.
except for the sun, which shines down upon you like a spotlight. Suddenly you hear a... Is that a fucking guitar riff? Oh god!
No.
It's
Oh my god,
another...
Slash! Holy shit!
Everybody roll me a history check. Those from the early 2000s, you roll at an advantage.
Okay.
Oh, it
Also, I will say Talia's already pulled out the outer weapon.
Oh, come on. No, this makes sense. I feel like rock music's completely gone and out of the picture by 20.
God, your reality fucking just went down the toilet.
I was gonna
Fuck.
here's the thing. I was gonna make the joke that D&D got bought out by fucking Disney, So.
See, that would be accurate.
That is officially the worst timeline. Congratulations.
Okay,
Christ.
mental note, Jackson comes from a timeline where D&D was bought out by Disney and they continued to make live-action remakes. Anyway, Talia and Q, you guys both recognize this music. Blasting you from the storm clouds is none other than Welcome to the Jungle by Guns N' Roses, and the bass is so loud you can feel it shaking the ground and shivering your bones. Sparks of lightning shoot out from the clouds, striking the ground like some elaborate light show. You guys recognize this. This ain't just some storm. I know my words. I can English good.
DM, may I make a small suggestion?
Yes.
Can Talia's form be rippling from the sheer base?
Yeah,
Yellow wiggles!
pure, like, water visualizer right there.
Talia, I need you to roll me a Constitution save.
Oh no!
Because you're seeing these.
Alright, can I pull the D4 for this?
Yes, you can. I don't
No,
know.
I don't need it!
Okay, you managed to hold yourself together, but you feel like slightly melted jello.
You can only look at the thing happening on in amazement. It's like, how in the fuck?
It gets better, aka it gets worse. And I'm
Oh,
trying
God.
not to smile too much because I've been waiting to do this bit for over a month.
Oh no.
This ain't just some storm, it's a fucking concert. Within the clouds, you see an almost amorphous silhouette take form, and from the dark clouds emerge a face. An unwanted face, to be sure. Composed of countless sparks of light is your captor. Staring not at you, but up at the sky. Welcome, welcome! Yes, hello everyone. And as he says this, you hear a round of applause seemingly coming out of nowhere, as if it were from a soundboard.
Jackson's just like hearing that and just looking around like, oh.
But yes, you see that, and you see these kind of like lens flares flashing in the sky as if countless photographs are being taken. It's like you're in a dome. Welcome everyone to season 10 of my world-famous series, Tomb of Annihilation. Please give a special round of applause for our wonderful little contestants. And as he says this, the light of the sun shines ever so slightly brighter upon you like a spotlight. And finally, his attention turns to you. I will have to give you all credit. You're a lot feistier than the last couple of groups. I mean, breaking out of the pods, seen it, but teaming up with the bugs and convincing them to let you go? Oh, my ratings haven't been higher. I mean, you've been tugging at the audience's heartstrings since day one, and you, and he points to Q, oh, let me tell you, the ladies already love you. A little early on that reveal, but you're a smart guy. Didn't think that you'd catch on to your, little quirk until at least a couple weeks in, after a little bit of drama, you know?
What kind of fucking entertainer are you?
A very powerful one, with a lot of money and a lot of time on his hands.
I'm sorry, corporate.
That time's gonna get cut short.
Are we sure we're not in hell right now? 'Cause it kind of feels like we're in hell right now.
About that, I actually plucked you away from going to hell, so you're welcome.
Yeah, I kind of figured I was going there anyways, so.
Oh, a lot of you go there, trust me. Do you know how many souls I see going to hell when they don't deserve it?
I honestly thought I was gonna go to limbo.
Oh, I hate to tell you this, buddy. Limbo doesn't exist.
Damn it.
Ah, but yes. It is good to see you all have made it. This means that this show will be quite entertaining. I suppose I owe you all a formal introduction, don't I?
You're a lot more than that.
A name, an explanation, why the fuck we're here,
All in due time, little fox. All in due time. Well, to give such a formal introduction, and for the sake of my audience, I am a Sararak, Life Forger, Game Master, and your host for yet another season. Now, all of you here are smart, and you've kind of caught on to my game, so I'll cut to the chase. Each of you down there with your puny little lives, you all died in your respective times and worlds. Now, I need players in my little game, and you all fit the bill. I'll admit to, underestimating you a little bit the first time, but seeing as some of you are, and he's looking at you, Talia, undercooked? Yeah, let's go with that, undercooked. Could you blame me?
There is a very pronounced narrowing of the eyes.
What was I talking about again? Oh, yes. Right, you see, I had a little bit of different intentions for you guys. We're technically supposed to be in the off-season. You all were meant to be more of, cogs in the clock, as we'll call it. But, since you proved so entertaining, why not give this a shot? I figure I'll give you all each a chance. Hidden in this jungle are 5 different important pieces, each of which you'll need to visit or find to reach your final test. One piece leads to the next, a interesting piece of the puzzle, but I'm sure you'll connect the dots. And he thinks to himself, where did I put the last one? Oh, to hell with it. I suppose I'll, give you all a little bit of a hint. I'd be a horrible game master if I didn't help you, no?
A cruel one, that's for sure.
Oh, please. I might be insane, but I'm not a jerk.
Well, the other one that said it, not us.
Anyway, with the cameras rolling, I need to keep up appearances, so. He waves his fingers, and a light appears as one of his eyes seem to float down. It changes shape, and in its place is a golden gear, about 5 inches in diameter. Now then, I'll read this one out for the sake of the audience, but here's your, written version, as it will. I am a relic hidden in plain sight, a man whose skin is cold as ice, a ring I bear, by good I swear, look for the woman with blonde hair. Any questions? I'll judge by your silence that you don't have any questions for me, so I think
We're just
good.
kind of taking it in because this is a lot of information to process all at once.
Well, you all said you were familiar with the concept of Dungeons and Dragons. This is basically the same thing.
I've never played it before in my entire life. Again, I said it got canceled well before I was even born.
Well, that sounds
I-
like a you problem.
I'm the only one that technically said that I was familiar with Dungeons and Dragons.
but I know a coded riddle when I see one.
I assure you, you will find more help and perhaps a tome or two that you're looking for in that city. I can't give you all the information, of course. That ruins the fun.
Alright then. Say we play this game of yours then. I must ask, what's our prize?
Oh, you know the prize is simple. No one's managed to get it yet, despite all their effort, but you all managed to make it through to the final challenge and pass the test. I save you from your death, and you go back to your lives as is. No painful crushing of the skulls or shots through the heart, stabbing, whatever your fancy, you'll be protected.
Can I roll
Does-
insight?
You can roll insight.
I'd like to roll inside as well.
Okay,
for
it's
it.
better than a 1.
I'll do the
I'll
same.
take that.
Why do I keep forgetting I have guidance?
Ah!
I think I'll roll an insight with disadvantage, given the fact that Q's a bit shaken, not stirred.
Shit!
Alright, let me double
Surprisingly,
check.
I did great.
Congratulations.
Oh my god. Eletris meets it, but beats it.
Ooh.
Damn.
Woo!
Alright.
Yeah.
Eletris, you know that he's probably going to keep his word, but there's something fishy about how he knows about how all of you died.
So Eletris is going to kind of look at him and just like, okay, look, with whatever's going on here, with game shows, whatever fucked up kind of survivor shit this is, we need to know more about the players in the game. But how do you know what happened to us when some of us don't know what happened to us?
Are you familiar with the concept of an autopsy?
I don't like where this is going.
Let's think about it this way. When someone dies, their soul has, what would you call? A scar? A written code, as it were, that included the manner of which they died. Different faiths, regard it differently, but in your case, well, some of you were bloodier than others. But that's not something to worry about right now. I took out the, let's just say you're not going to have those scars in this form. I took your soul, your consciousness, all the little good parts, and gave you a brand new body.
And I suppose we're supposed to thank you for that.
Oh, I don't expect you to thank me. Like I said, you all weren't intended participants. But I'm being generous in letting you have a chance. After all, if I wanted to, and he just sends a bolt of lightning about 5 feet away from you, I could strike you down as we speak.
Fine. So I just have to ask to be crystal clear. We go through this series of challenges you presented to us. And when we get to the end, and we blast through whatever, and she just kind of makes a gesture, obstacle you have in our way, then we're getting out of this.
Put back together in better than ship shape, and if you prove yourself extra entertaining, my dear Talia, I might be able to help you and your people with your war. Does that sound exciting?
Talia's actually not going to respond. However, the expression gets stony.
For a woman who had a lot to say earlier, you are definitely proving yourself to be more of the strong, silent type at times. No matter, I appreciate the trope. But the rules are clear. I've given you your first clue. You already know where you're going. At this rate, we just have to see how the game unfolds. So, live, die, survive, thrive, fall in love, mourn the losses. Do whatever you wish. I've had some who didn't even bother playing the game and they were just here for the rest of their lives. Of course, they died a gruesome death, but that happens pretty often here. But I don't have any more time to deal with you all, so I have to go get to a press conference with regards to the distribution of this season. Toodles! And you just watch as the cloud disappears.
And that's when Q kind of falls to his knees.
Q, you're going to feel the sensation of being lifted. Your body weight's being supported for the moment by an appendage that seems to wrap itself around you without much difficulty at all. Just take a breath. The last thing you need is for them to see you struggling at a weak point, especially since we know someone's watching for some kind of pastime.
This up close to Q, Talia would see that somehow he's even paler than he was before, but he does give like a few small nods. Though he's will lean a bit more on her. Yeah, just gotta get to grips.
She's not letting go until it seems like he can stand on his own. So, Q, you've got a small breather to get yourself together.
He definitely appreciates it, and probably after like maybe a minute at most, he is able to stand on his own again and looks at least a slight bit better than before.
Xerxes will offer Q a hug if he wishes.
He will definitely accept the hug.
He's not the strongest bug, but having extra arms is definitely comfy.
Definitely.
So, how are Jack and Eletris reacting to this reality?
Please hold for Eletris.
Holding.
Yeah, Jackson just kind of takes a moment, breathes in, breathes out. God, I hope they have alcohol in this plane of existence. I need a drink after all of that.
I don't know how strong the stuff you usually take, but there should be alcohol.
I'll take even weak shit after that. It's just staring down the face of an actual fucking god. God.
Fake god.
Honestly, I don't even really think that's an actual god, but we'll need money if you even want alcohol.
Just God, mortal, it doesn't matter. It still bleeds the same. All I can tell is that I've heard plenty of that kind of ilk. If we're gonna if we're gonna be able to get through this, then we're gonna have to do more than just charge blindly.
I think first things first, we better head into town. Probably gonna take us most of the day just to get over there, but it's better than being out here in the middle of the woods.
That's when Xerxes says, "There's hints everywhere. Perhaps that will give us more clarity."
At the very least, get into town is better than staying outside.
I think we better get moving before that demented Ryan Seacrest wannabe comes back.
Was he acceptably fruity for everybody?
Oh, he
Oh,
was.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm just sorry I had to keep Talia's thoughts private.
Talia had to think her inside thoughts. Oh, but you guys make your way up, and you finally make your way to the city. The walk is quiet and somewhat solemn, but it gives you a lot of time to think. And this is where we move on to our next little place. Boo boo boo. Alright. Y'all can see this?
Yes.
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 Yep.
Alright, and I'm going to just turn up my music volume a little bit so I can hear this.
There we are.
Alright. So, as the sun is starting to set, you finally make your way to the grand city, Port Nyanzaru. As you approach the outer border, you finally see the city of Port Nyanzaru in full. Terracotta bricks sit within sandy red mortar, creating a large wall which cuts off the innermost city from the rest of the plains. Buildings near the entrance are low to the ground, dug slightly in, requiring many to step down and crouch to get into their homes. The buildings within this section are far older, the terracotta and paint worn down by the sea winds and time. No doubt old ancestral homes. The smell of grass makes itself known as the winds blow in from the sea, and you see the tightly packed thatch roofs standing firm in their structure. An elderly woman with charcoal brown skin sits with similarly looking children, telling tales in a language foreign to you. But as she does so, she speaks with glee, painting a mural upon a wall with red paint, depicting a king saving his people. To your west, you see a large volcanic pit, a wound in the earth forever smoking. The smell of sulfur is blown away from you, though from a distance you can see workers diligently shoveling bits of refuse into the molten pits. Even on the outskirts of the city, you can see that things are kept clean. And as you step closer to the city, you hear the sound of cheering. But guys, about here. A large, rectangular pit is surrounded by cheering bystanders. Within the pit, guards throw a few prisoners, dressed in simple rags, into the bloody sands. A jaguar, emerges from a cage, and you watch as the men struggle to dodge the jaguar's swipes. Though some of them do not survive, while the jaguar is distracted, you see another man, particularly charismatic, climbing up a rope on the other end of the pit, and he is welcomed into the arms of the viewers like a victorious gladiator. He has earned his freedom. Some of the people stare at you, but others seem to grin, giving welcome looks as they see newcomers to their city. But the looks immediately turn sour as they see that Xerxes is with you. A few guards come over and they point their spears at Xerxes. We do not accept these into our city. They have brought much grief.
I can understand possible past grievances, but why exclude the individual for the crimes of the many?
The many is all that they are. These creatures are a hive mind, controlled by one.
Not this one.
Not-
Do you think we would be alive if this one was traveling around with us?
Roll me a persuasion check.
Do 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 do.
Yeah, Q was about to say about the same thing.
Quick question: Does guidance only work on skills, or does it work on abilities as well?
It works on abilities too.
All right, Jackson, you have guidance.
Oh boy.
It's not going to be a subtle guidance, though.
If you were casting friendship, you'd be in a little bit more trouble, but... Alright, roll
Yeah.
me guidance.
That's a D4, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Ooh, thank you.
Alright. Meets it, beats it.
Nice.
They keep their hands on their spears, and then tilt their heads. This one is not the color of the others. Why does this one travel with you?
We are people in an unusual situation. He didn't used to look like that, unfortunately.
The ones that I think you were afraid of, the ones that have caused you grief, this one helped us escape from them, I think.
Your creature has fought against its own kin to save others.
He has, yes.
You would do best to cover his face in the city. Many would not be as welcome as we. And this is saying something.
We will endeavor to find something to help cover his form.
They look to Xerxes and they say, if it is true what they say about the bugs, change your face. That is the only way you will be loved here. And they walk away.
Eletris kind of looks at Xerxes and is just like, okay, looks like we gotta pull a monster in Paris.
That's when Xerxes' eyebrows raise. It's just like, wait, you've seen this movie too?
Damn, that's a deep cut.
Q can only raise it in confusion because he has not heard of it before.
Out of character, we will show it to you. It's amazing.
It is great. It is a wonderful movie.
Talia had her hand on her side piece the entire time. It was a subtle positioning, but it was there, and just lets out a breath and just, Well, it looks like some things are the same no matter where one goes.
What do you think they meant by change my face?
I'm not sure.
It might be that the race that you are has a biological ability to change their appearance. Either that or they have access to a spell known as Disguise Self, which, obvious name being obvious, disguises your appearance as something else or someone else.
Xerxes thinks for a moment. Do you think that I should figure this out before we go into the rest of the city?
Well, if the guards' reception of you as you are is any indication, it's probably for the best.
In the meantime, perhaps myself and maybe looks over at Jackson, just Jax, perhaps we can go in and see if we can find something suitable.
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay. Are you going to look in the local shops, or are you going to try going further into the city?
It doesn't hurt to look around local first, just in the
Yeah.
off chance. If there's
We
something we
also
can find there, that'll work. But if not, then we can go into the city. But you were saying.
we also need to figure out what kind of currency this place has, considering I'm pretty sure none of us have any money, and we probably don't have any kind of D&D currency on us at all. So
I mean, from what I'm looking at in my own character sheet, I seem to have 2 gold on me.
right, I didn't know if that was going to be canon though, given how we started out.
True.
I'll tell you what. Ben, call it even or odds.
Even because I like those odds.
It is odd. None of you have any money.
Shit.
Okay. And I shall clear the whatever gold I had.
I have an idea in my back pocket, but we'll get to it should it come to it.
All right. I'll tell you what. Anyone who's looking for an option for Xerxes to cover himself, roll me a perception check.
Do.
Can I use that D4?
You may.
Is it just me, or does the music keep pausing at random intervals?
Is it?
Damn.
No,
It's not pausing for
seems to
me.
be. No, it seems to be a me thing then.
Maybe refresh real quick.
Yeah, doing that.
Alright, I'm going to give this one to Jackson because honestly I feel like the rogue would be most capable of doing this. Jackson, what's your morality of stealing?
He's fine about it if it's like not trying to like murder some like innocent or anything like that.
Alright, go ahead and make me a stealth check and a sleight of hands check.
Okay, stealth check. I'm good at those. 18.
Nice.
And then sleight of hand. Not
Oh.
20.
Gorgeous.
Ah, yes,
Alright.
what object right there?
I need to pull up the table real quick.
Ooh.
See, my concept was a barter system of sorts. It's just like, look, I've got a companion that's in need of some cover, and they're very susceptible to temperature. Is there any, how to say, I've got a strong body. Do you have something that you need done in exchange for just a garment, a single garment? You know, I was gonna try that, but if you want to go straight stealing, cool.
I mean, you didn't notice Jackson slip off. You can
Yeah.
you can try that. Alright, Jackson, I need you to call it high or low.
Hi.
Holy shit, a 91.
Ooh.
Okay, Talia, I'm gonna give you a chance to do your thing if you want to roll me a persuasion check.
Sure, I don't know how it's gonna go, but I'll try. Oh god, I've got a -1 to it. Okay. Dang it.
10.
You ask around a little bit, and you find this elderly woman who's kind of like, she's pulling a bucket of something into her home. It's just like, oh dear, I can help you with that if you need. Could you help me with a chore really quickly?
Hi.
Alright, and Talia, I need you to roll me a constitution save.
Alrighty.
Okay. So, the elderly woman has walked into her hut, and, fun fact, in Africa, a lot of the houses are very simplistic because they live very minimalistic lives, so she has kind of moved all of her furniture out of the way, and she sets the bucket down, and she points to it and says, my poor boy ended up passing away in the jungle, but I need to refresh my floors. I have gotten a fresh bucket, but I need you to spread this on the floor. Is this okay with you?
I'm no stranger to this kind of work.
Very good. I will go out to my weaving rack, and I will pull out one of the cloths, if that is okay.
Aye. That's I say. Aye, that'll be fine. Thank you.
Alright. When you take the lid off of the bucket, you find it is filled with cow dung.
Did Talia stutter? She's had to clean shit before, so she's not unfamiliar with the substance. Is it gonna be pleasant? No. However,
But yes, I did a lot of research, and I found it really interesting to learn about, so I'm sorry for including facts about my latest hyper focus.
No, it's
no,
completely
you're
fine.
fine. But yeah, Talia's going to get to work and refreshing the floor, the ground of the flooring.
Yeah, so to give context to the chat, in traditional African huts, they will put because their cows are a lot healthier because they eat healthier stuff. They will put a specific type of cow dung on their floors to refresh it. It does not smell. It tends to smell like dry leaves and grass. And the reason why they do it is not only does it insulate the floor during the dry season, but it also keeps bugs and parasites away. This has been your fact of the day from me.
Yeah.
Danke.
But yeah, so as you're doing that, and you do come out a little bit gross, Talia. You've got little bits of dung stuck in your goop.
That's all right. She'll find a place to get rid of it somehow.
But
Can I do a perception on that? Try to figure out a good spot to work something out.
I'm just gonna give this one to you. You find what's the equivalent of a latrine. You sit down in it, and you just go. It's the most logical sense for you.
Just deposit the manure somewhere else.
I mean, yeah.
Put the poop in the poop hole.
Yeah. I will say it is a very odd sensation for her because she's like, things move differently.
Where is my colon?
Not where's my colon?
Yeah, so in the meantime, I guess Electrus and Q have been sticking back with Xerxes.
Yee, and well, Q did the thing that he did.
Let me double check.
Just a small little gesture that he felt compelled to do.
Alright, I need to double roll for this, because I'm rolling on the expanded table here. 27. Oh, that's not a good choice. I need to pick something else.
Oh no!
Uh-oh.
Okay, 17. Alright. So, you guys all return to see Xerxes sitting on the ground, and he's basically in almost a meditative state. And he seems to be doing what's almost like a vocal warm-up, as if he were getting into character for something. And you all watch as the scaly carapace on his body begins to shiver and rotate as his body seems to change shape. The skin remains a soft blue, and his hair is shimmery, as golden amber eyes reside in what appears almost akin to an elven face, and long, beautiful wings reside on his back. Your stunned silence is very reassuring.
I didn't
I'm
think
not-
Natalia was there yet, so that's why I was
Yeah,
quiet.
I know I'm not there, so I can't say shit.
Q, do you want to roll a wisdom save to see how attracted you are to this man?
Is that wisdom or charisma?
I was gonna say, gotta roll the Riz check.
Wrist check.
He is very pretty.
I think this would definitely be more of a wisdom check than anything. I think.
Alright, roll me a
Or
wisdom save.
Yeah. Just a normal. Did the music pause?
I still hear it going.
I think your roll 20 might be bugged, my dude.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Oh no, he's hot.
Okay, so, Q. You remember when you had your first, childhood crush on a guy, and it activated that fluttery feelings, and it's just like, why do I feel this way?
Technically, at that time, it would have been a girl, but same principle.
Basically, you feel like you're staring at a supermodel right now.
He can feel the heat starting to gather up in his face, so he has to look away.
Do you want to try to hide it?
He's kind of trying to hide it.
Okay, roll me a deception check at disadvantage. Hey, Electrus, you see that Q is absolutely beat red in the face.
Huh. I didn't think he was capable of that.
I mean, understandable given how pale Q was.
Electrus is gonna kind of like wave his hand in front of Q's eyes. Just like, anyone home?
Don't perceive me. He proceeds to cover his eyes.
Electrus, you can roll me an insight check if you want.
I lost my character. There it is.
I lost my character. He's in the hole now.
No, not the hole.
Wah,
That was my favorite character.
Now he's in the hole.
wah.
Oh no, he's lost in the cobalt hole.
Alright. Eletris, as a man who served food in France, you have seen many a young lover. You recognize the sign of a man who is absolutely just falling head over heels for someone. Xerxes is not paying attention, by the way. He can't hear any of this.
God.
Just, hey, you like him, don't you?
You just hear violins in the back, just.
When the
When the
moon's in
moon
the
hits
sky.
your eye like a big pizza pie, that's amore.
If this is an actual sound that's happening, Q would like raise his fist up at the air and just quote shout, "Shut up!"
You know what? Okay. Even or odds, Q.
Odds, because I don't like those evens.
You hear as, like, everybody around you hears as a soundbite plays from what you can only assume is a Sirac himself playing That's Amore.
Q crouches down, hides his face behind his shield, and just holds his head like, what the fuck is my life now?
Oh, this is a night, it's a beautiful night.
Oh, that's a beautiful one too.
They call it Bella Notte.
Why is this happening to me? Please save me from this.
Made my mistake.
Why am I still here? Just to suffer?
Alright, so you're, like, crouched down on the ground right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, after a few moments, Xerxes walks over and looks at you guys, just like, why is he crouched on the ground?
He found a bug.
Xerxes blinks, just like, oh my god, I have eyelids again! And I can talk with my actual mouth!
I want y'all to know, Talia might be a little grumpy when she gets back.
Understandable. But for Xerxes' exclamations, Q just like gives a thumbs up before going back to holding his head.
He's just like, Q, look, I have lips again!
You, Q. Oh no, everyone else, you know what you must do.
I don't know if I want to look right now.
Do you say that out loud?
Yeah.
Oh god, a nat 20!
Oh no.
Oh no!
Oh no. What is that for?
I'm just gonna put that over here and save that for later.
Oh, God.
You have only postponed your doom.
Q, out of the corner of your eye, you actually see as Xerxes gives a frown and he just kind of turns away. It's just like, oh, okay.
Ow!
Ow. Ow. Why you gotta do that to the boy?
And thus all embarrassment is gone and replaced by guilt.
Why do I feel like Q is slowly crawling towards the pit? It's just like, just let the jaguars take me!
No, he's not doing that. He just At first it was comical embarrassment. Now it's just like, oh, god damn it! I made someone sad again.
Shame.
So Eletris is gonna shoot Q a look before putting a hand on Xerxes' shoulder, just like, it's all right. Just give him a minute. He'll be fine.
That's when Xerxes gives a shrug, and this is when Talia and Jackson start making, like, they're starting to walk over, and they'll see kind of like the hint of the blue man in the crowd. But before they arrive, you guys see a small child pointing at Xerxes, and they say aloud, "That man has a big penis. Why is his penis out?"
Ah, yes, he had no clothes.
Now, instead of guild, Q lets out the loudest wheeze.
To make it clear, nudity is not illegal in Portnianzari, but kids have no chill, and they will just say shit.
Alright, I'm gonna be the one to ask it. How big is it? Let's see, you rolling for endowment right now, or you better be rolling for that shit right now.
No.
I am rolling for endowment right now. I was trying
Oh
to
my
get
god.
my dice got like stuck in the dice tower, and guess what I rolled?
Please tell me it's 69. Please tell me it's 69.
It's a 12 because it's a D12. I'm so sorry, Q. You've fallen for a man that's apparently death by snoo snoo.
Let's fucking go.
Oh god.
The diaphragm puncher.
Christ.
Oh. I guess that's 12 inches. I hope you know what to do with all of that, Q.
No.
Damn. Lucky.
Shut up.
I mean, they're not technically together yet, so he's available.
I don't know if Jackson swings that way. I need to think about that.
Do you want to roll for gayness?
How did I roll for gayness?
How about we move the ball?
Why should we do that when it's just so entertaining?
This is the best part of the stream. You can't argue with it.
You're gonna get like 12 highlights out of this.
Oh, absolutely.
You sound very flushed over there, Noid. Are you good?
Because I am very method acty.
Oh, are you actually feeling feelings?
Not actually feeling feelings, but I know what the character feels, and he is dying.
That's okay. He'll get some reprieve when the two get back.
Alright, I've pulled up the table. Jackson, do you want to roll for gay?
What's the roll? What's the dice roll?
I need you to roll me 2 separate d20s.
2 separate d20s. Bop up. And bop.
Okay, so that's 3, 4, 5, 6. You're pansexual and
That makes sense.
8. You are. Shit, I did my numbers wrong. Please hold. The DM is a dumbass. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 15. You're panromantic.
Ah, okay.
So, enjoy those pans, my guy.
Pans, glorious pans.
I will accept any other gay roles if anyone wants to check, because Talia and Jackson are entering, and Electrus is seeing this man. So
Oh god.
See, I know that Talia is somewhere on the ace spectrum. I know that for damn sure. Romantically, I have no idea because
Romance and
that
40K?
just wasn't a thing. Yeah, this was not a thing from her setting, but I'm willing to roll. But I just know that sexuality-wise, I feel like she is probably going to be Demi at most.
do you want to roll for romantic? We don't have to stick with these. I want to make it clear. It's just for the bit.
It's just
No, I
a bit.
understand. I'm just letting you know. But yeah, I can roll.
All right, roll me a d20.
Christ.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, 1, 2. I'd like to be able to read my numbers. Okay. 1, 2. Talia is a lesbian.
Okay.
Honestly, yeah, I see it.
Yeah, I can see it too, yeah.
All right, then. Good to know.
Electrus, how are you holding up in all of this?
You're at ground zero, my dude.
That is an excellent question. Do I need to make like a wisdom save?
I'll let you make a wisdom save if you really want to.
Save for the fucking.
Alright,
Hey!
you
Look
aren't
Fucking
down.
nerves of steel over there.
you aren't dying from embarrassment like Q is. How do you want to react to
It-
this?
He's from France. He's fine with this, I guess.
He's basically just kind of like taking it in stride. He's not going to comment on it. He's not going to make anyone feel more uncomfortable than they already are. He just witnessed Q's soul leave his body with that wheeze.
He's just laying on the ground in the Family Guy death pose.
Yeah, he is doing that, but he's also still wheeze laughing his ass off.
Basically, as I think as Talia and Jackson are approaching, he's going to like step in front of Xerxes to kind of like give him a little bit of modesty.
They already saw it.
It may be a futile gesture, but the sentiment is still there.
I just realized something. Xerxes is a little bit shorter. Q, what's your current eye level?
Oh no.
Rip.
Wait,
I think he's dead.
Say it again?
I need to know how tall Q is sitting down.
Sitting down, so that'd be half his height. Q would be about 3 foot while sitting down.
I'm so sorry, man. Do you want the ass or the dick side to be facing you?
But he's not sitting down, he's laying on the ground right now.
Oh. I'm so sorry, but I had to ask myself this logical question. Alright, now that we finally have the other two back, Talia, you were given a loincloth. Jackson, you managed to swipe some pretty nice clothes. Like, not prince levels of clothes, but, like, almost noble-looking clothes.
Can I ask for an addendum to the loincloth?
Yes.
Is it possible that there could be like a small, like essentially it would be like a small cloak? Because I have a bit in mind for it.
I will allow that.
Okay. Jackson, you wanna go first?
Yeah, it's like, hey, he kind of stops where God names, Elantris stops. It's like, got some clothes. Saw some pretty rich looking dude head inside a what seemed to be a bath or brothel or something like that. Left his clothes outside, so
Well,
it
maybe we
is
can put them to better use.
I was about to say, kind of like sees Q just dead on the ground. It's like, is Q all right over there, or
You could hear like wheeze laughter coming out in between breaths in.
all? I can only imagine that all while Xerxes is looking down while this while it's just looming over him.
I'm sure he's fine.
I could say a really cursed thought that came to mind.
I'm being very careful considering I don't want Miguel banned off of Twitch for this.
Yeah.
I might be
So-
responsible for my own
Looking
removal from
over.
Twitch.
So Talia's gonna come up, take stock of the situation real quick, including the transformation, just groans as just like, why is it that no matter what group I find myself with, there's always one who does not know how to wear some fucking clothes?
I
This has
didn't
happened to you
have
before.
clothes.
Yeah, just she rubs her like I know the circumstances. I just hate that it feels like I'm cursed. And she's just
But-
gonna toss the loincloth towards him. Look at Q, who still is very red in the face, still kind of shrinks down, lets out a sigh. She's gonna take something and drop it on top of him. It's a small cloak, just like, given how pale you are, it's very possible that you could end up burning. So last thing we need is for you to fall sick.
No, I gotta.
Electros takes the cloak and drapes it over him like a death shroud.
There are small chuckles still coming from underneath the quote shroud.
Just as long as none of you start talking about sea turtles, we'll be fine. Otherwise, I may start shooting.
Okay, Silver
I feel
just
like there's a
played
story
glitter-
behind that.
Silver just played a glitter bomb. I need everybody to make me a DC 15
Ah,
dexterity
shit.
saving throw.
Dex save.
Oh boy.
And since Q, you're laying on the ground, you're prone,
Yeah.
so
What was the saving throw again? Dex?
dexterity
Yeah,
save.
dexterity save. Well, it's a 9 from me.
Haha!
Oh no.
And I will roll for Xerxes.
What about you, honey? Did you roll yours? Okay.
Yeah, it's a 13 for Electros.
Oh.
Okay, so Electris, Q, Jackson, and Xerxes are all covered in glitter that just fell out of the sky.
What the hell?
Talia managed to notice something so that she, avoided that, but she's just gonna kind of look up, look down at them, and it's just. I don't know what I prefer, this or the unpredictability of the warp.
Though, since Q was technically draped in the cloak as a shroud, he didn't get. It didn't exactly get covered in glitter, though he has to be extremely careful when coming out from under the shroud.
Roll me a sleight of hand check.
Not gonna be great.
Okay.
Well, decent.
You managed to get out of it without having a shit ton of glitter on you, which sucks because I was going to make a sparkling vampire joke, but that's okay. Xerxes can have that instead.
Q's like, I did not want to be Twilight.
You already look like Twilight, so meh.
I don't want to be Twilight.
Talia's gonna look at all of them. She's gonna look at the glitter-covered cloak of Q that he managed to avoid getting covered with. A thoughtful expression crosses her face as she reaches out. There's another extension of her that comes out from a little above the arm. like a little on the body, and it just kind of reaches out, and it's going to lay on top of the cloak and just kind of start. It looks like it's starting to immerse the cloak. I'm trying to see if she can pull the glitter off and then return the cloak.
Okay, are you using the tacky side of your skin?
I was thinking more envelopment, but I could use the tacky side of it. It's more just like a absorb and then drop the cloak while holding on to the glitter, because the glitter's not gonna fucking hurt me.
Well, I'm not saying that the glitter will hurt you, it's just if it goes inside of you, it will come out slimy.
Okay, I guess I can try the tacky side and see if that works. Otherwise, sorry, getting a slimy cloak.
Alright, so you roll the pseudopod up and down the glitter, like those little rolly things that you get to you use to get pet hair off of something.
Lint roller?
Yeah,
Yeah, lint roller.
And now your pseudopod is covered in glitter.
Cool. I retract the pseudopod inside, and you can start to see little shimmering particles drifting around inside of Talia, and just... She's gonna kind of like look down at herself while there's like little bubbles still happening out, and then just kind of look at the others, just like, I can try, but I don't know exactly what the experience is like.
Xerxes lifts his hands up and just starts walking.
Ah,
As he's walking away from her.
Yeah, he's making his way further into the city now that he's dressed.
He's gonna pick up the cloak and throw up the hood of his own jacket before draping the cloak over his shoulders, and follow after Xerxes.
Nobody wanted the slime lint roller. Oh well. He can be good. He can be covered in glitter then.
I mean, Eletris and Jackson are still covered in glitter.
yeah. Jackson's still coughing with like got glitter down his throat. It's like trying to hack it out.
You got glitter in your mouth.
Yeah.
Is Eletris currently away?
No, I'm here. Was just debating if I should have him make a comment of just like, is this what it feels like for strippers with body glitter?
Talia's gonna look at Eletris. It's just like, ask me for help now, or I'm walking.
Please?
She's just like, I will fucking leave right now if you're gonna keep making dumbass remarks. So yeah, she's going to assist Eletris, and Jackson has not asked, so...
Because he's coughing.
I know, but he hasn't asked! Look, the only way she could help with that is if she literally sticks the pseudopod inside of his mouth. Do you want that?
Just get him a glass of water or something.
Does it look like she's carrying water at the moment?
Just get a glass of water. It should be
Moving
very
on.
obvious.
Moving on. Alright, so, after the debacle of absolutely getting glitter bombed, you guys finally start making your way closer to the city. In reality, that encounter maybe took 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course, but you know, we're role players. What do you want from us?
Efficiency.
It felt like hours.
In this economy, blasphemy. Alright. As you continue past the pit, you see two ziggurat-like structures, depicting twin snakes slithering past each other in an almost harmonious battle. One ziggurat is made from a brilliant alabaster stone, Meanwhile, the other is carved from shimmering obsidian and slate. Eletris, roll me a wisdom saving throw.
Meanwhile, all Q can hear in his mind is Scanlan going, "Oh hey, it's the zipper twats."
God damn it.
Alright, Eletris. A cold sensation fills your chest as you look at the dark ziggurat. Though the white alabaster building brings a sense of warmth and comfort, you almost feel as if you hear a hissing malice coming from the dark building. You can't help but put a hand to your heart as you look at it, and you feel as your chest gets tighter. Your breath quickens, and your vision starts to blur. Roll me a Constitution saving throw, please.
Oh boy.
You managed not to pass out, but Eletris, you're currently experiencing a panic attack.
All right, so he's basically just kind of frozen in place and hyperventilating while looking at it.
Alright, Talia, you notice that Eletris is hyperventilating and experiencing what you would basically consider shell shock.
Eletris, you're going to feel a sensation on your shoulders for a moment. It's both of Talia's hands before one goes up and covers over your eye. It's not as effective as it could have been given that she's a goop person, but there's enough of a filter there that at least should help shock you out of the moment of what you're looking at. It's just, you're gonna pass out if you keep breathing like that. Slow it down.
Let's see, do I need to make a roll for this, or is this effective?
Roll me a wisdom save at advantage. Alright. Eletris, as you were starting to hyperventilate, you were getting visions of blood and snakes caught in battle. You almost feel as if you're watching from your own eyes as a snake bites down on your chest, bleeding you dry of your life force. As the chill begins to spread, something stops it. A warm sensation as Talia places her hands above your eyes, and as the vision breaks away from the black ziggurat, you manage to take a breath, and you are steady again.
So he's going to kind of like try to pat Talia's hand, just kind of like a "I'm okay" kind of gesture, and just he's pointedly looking away from the ziggurat and toward her, and just thank you. Not sure what came over me.
Talia's gaze is, I don't want to say it's cold, but there's a detachment there. And in a voice quieter than you'd think you'd hear from her, just, it's not my first time seeing someone like that. It can be brought by anything that's close to what you've gone through.
That's when Eletris kind of looks toward the ziggurat again, just keeping it in like the corner of his vision. He's not willing to look entirely at it. I don't know. I don't know if that was... I saw something, and I don't know if it's from my memory. It seemed real enough, but It was strange.
Well, considering I don't know what level of head it, she stops for a second before just what level of forces might be involved in this. So it might be from memory. It might be from the chuckle fuck jabbing something inside his unmentionables. It's difficult to say.
Just basically, that last one is enough to kind of like snap him out of it. Just kind of basically like making him think of something worse than what he just witnessed.
God.
There's like a shiver that goes down his spine and is just like, okay, the vision was bad enough. I did not need that in my mind. Thank you, Talia.
For the first time, a very, very small smirk crosses her face. It's just like, don't mention it. And she turns to start taking in a little bit more of the city, scanning around. I have a question for the DM.
I have an answer.
The alabaster statue you mentioned. Can I do a perception check to see the hand on that by any chance?
So there's ziggurats, so they're large pyramid-like
okay.
buildings. But
I thought you were describing a. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. So they have Are you familiar with like an embossed carving?
Yes.
So they have embossed carvings, and the way that it happens is the bridge that goes. For context, you guys are about here right now. So the way that it goes is that the two ziggurats are basically made like wrapping snakes, and they come to a head at the bridge that basically makes an arch.
Okay. I had a concept, but I'm going to just kind of set it by the wayside at the moment. I'll see if I can develop it a little further.
You got it. So, as you manage to calm down Letrus, you all continue to move into the city, I assume?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Alright. Passing through the gates, the twin snakes, you are finally greeted with the city at large. You see, as the city is built into the cliff itself, broken down into 3 layers, with the middle being the primary section. While the streets bustle with countless citizens, you see as the financial elite look quite literally down upon you from their homes of alabaster and brilliantly painted brick. The entire city is teeming with color and life, with many of the buildings painted with various geometric patterns. Some have elegant designs carved into terracotta colored plaster, and you see as many cultures have come together in this place. Though different, their beauty is celebrated within the city, with everything from thatch to clay to tents. Looking at the citizenry, you notice a wide variety, mostly humans or humanoid, mostly with varying shades of medium to dark brown skin. Bipedal lizards, dinosaur folk, snake people, anthropomorphic cats, and even the occasional talking bird reside here. And just before you're about to take another step, another large boom shakes the ground around you. And crossing the street before you is a triceratops. It's here that you notice that the city is crawling with dinosaurs of varying ages and time periods. Triceratops pull carts. Hadrosaurus serves mounts the common folk. duck-billed dinosaurs clean the harbor of algae and various plants that would get tangled on the ships. Utahraptors serve as mounts for the honor guards, and velociraptors hunt various pests akin to barn cats. You even see pterodons carrying various packages and deliveries throughout the city. If it weren't for the soreness of your previous day, it would be hard to believe that it's real. But here you are, caught in a paradise out of time.
All I can think about are the Dinotopia books. I'm so goddamn happy right now.
Dinosaurs.
Open the door, get on the floor, everybody walk the
Do this
dinosaur.
dinosaur.
But
Wow.
you guys have the city at large.
Right. So one of the first things we should do is to try to see if we can get ourselves some resources, funds, probably. Then see if we can make heads or tails of that little riddle we were left with.
Yeah.
Alright.
I think the best place for us to start could be whatever passes as a tavern or an inn here. Might be that there's a bulletin board with requests on it, maybe.
Okay. Are you going to ask someone for directions, or are you going to look yourself?
I think it might be best to ask for directions.
Okay. You approach one of the Utahraptor riding guards, and they basically draw you up a map of the city. Like, they have maps on hand, and he gives a little circle of an area to travel to. Are you guys gonna go directly there?
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. We need to have a good starting point, and a tavern or an inn is a really good way to get a finger on the pulse, so to speak, of the city.
All
That,
right.
and we'll also know where to go for a good night's sleep once we have some actual cash on hand.
So I assume you guys asked about where to go to earn money and stuff like that first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to draw out your general path here. This is where you're going to be.
Okay. Just gonna.
So to make a long story short, you guys are passing through various locales, big buildings, glass, terracotta, everything like that. You make your way through what's the primary marketplace of the city first before you enter a smaller one. The one that you guys are currently next to is a meat market. I'm going to yoink Talia over here. Or if you want to move her yourself.
I was trying to see where y'all went. So I was going to do
Yeah.
it quietly.
We are down here. But yes, so as you guys make your way through the city and you're kind of exploring, you get a few weird looks, but weirdly enough, Electrus of all people is the one that blends in. But you guys make your way to a building that's kind of a few different buildings fused together into a complex. This large terracotta building seems to carry a mixture of traditional African architecture and Egyptian architecture, with large pillars encouraging airflow to keep things cool, while also providing a somewhat homey feeling. The walls are painted in a warm red as the symbol of a white lion resides over the doorway. And as you pass onto the smooth tile floors, you see a variety of adventurers and basically a bunch of different people looking for people to commission and everything like that. It's essentially the forum.
Well, it seems to be as good a place as any to start, so...
Alright. Who of you wants to take point on this?
I suppose Q can take point in going into the forum first, I suppose.
Alright. So, to describe a general idea of how the primary hall for this works, so Q, you recognize the concept of this from books, but you've never seen one in person. This is essentially a guild for hire hall, so this is where a bunch of freelancers will come and either offer their services or you can grab a job from the job board. And after getting a proper translation, you take note that the current hall that you're at is called the Sleeping Lion. And as you all make your way in, at the center of the room is a large desk where a few attendants are working together, but one woman seems to be in charge. Specifically, a Leonine lioness woman. Basically, she's standing there and she's dressed in stretched dinosaur skin. So essentially taking dinosaur skin, turning it into leather, and making it into clothes. Her hair is woven into locks to keep it clean and out of her face, and thrown into a ponytail. And she doesn't seem overly busy, but you might have to ask for her attention.
Yeah. So Q takes a few steps forwards and clears his throat a little. Excuse me. I hope I'm not interrupting.
I will show you her handout.
Ooh,
Nice.
Very pretty.
yeah.
This is Hero Forge, everybody.
I noticed.
Yeah.
There's ways to make it artsy.
I was about to say, what's that shading? Damn.
Well, you remember how I did that whole art school thing?
Ah, okay.
I kind of took everything that I learned from that and my senior film project, and I applied it to that, so it requires a little reverse engineering, but there's ways to make it look nice.
Nice.
But the lioness turns to you, and she speaks in a very, very deep, very warm voice. Ah, I sense the spider has sent more into the nest.
Well, I don't know if "sent" is the appropriate word, but me and my friends here are looking to get some work done and maybe have some cash in our pockets.
You have come to the right place. Many of Acererak's victims come here seeking refuge, coin, and work. Not many return, though. A few still remain.
Ah. Well, I certainly hope to not meet a grisly end too soon.
You would be wise not to play with your life when it has been given again. But where are my manners? I am Imara, the current guildmaster.
My name is Q. It's a pleasure to meet you.
You have quite the colorful bunch of which you travel with, Q. It is good to see new friendly faces.
That is a hell of a thing to say. I love that.
Yeah.
We try. But the is where exactly can we look at any possible job postings? Our personal coffers are a little dry at the moment.
Well, there will be an opening for the board soon, if you wish to stay, but seeing as it is getting late, would you prefer to stay the night, and then you can deal with it in the morning?
I think we all would be very grateful.
What exactly would you be asking of us? As I assume that a bed and a roof is not exactly free.
Many would say it is not free, but unlike the merchant princes, I do not withhold shelter so easily. You will be granted this, my gift given freely to you. If you will accept, of course.
I don't know if we have many other choice, honestly, so...
I certainly wouldn't want to sleep on cold hard ground for the night.
Agreed.
If that's her take on it, then we'll accept.
You come from hardened times. I do not blame your skepticism. But I assure you that generosity is available in the city when it is offered. You need not worry me twisting a knife.
Talia's gaze is going to look back at Amara's for a few moments, but there is a noticeable relaxing of the shoulders after a moment, and she just gives a nod.
You all have traveled far, I see. Many hours in the jungle are not kind to one's health. Next door to us is the city bathhouse. Would this interest you?
Well, I suppose it wouldn't hurt to wash up, but is this service free? I would kind of doubt it.
There are paid bathhouses that are considered private, but this one is available to the public. We here in Port Nyanzaru prioritize health and well-being. Though the merchant princes attempt to make much money off of our existence, the people have fought and earned their freedoms well. They would not be so bold as to take this away from them.
Well, I for one would then be glad to make use of these advantages, I suppose.
A word of caution. The baths are separated by the sexes. You would be wise not to enter the wrong room, unless you be kicked out of the city.
I can assure you I have no desire to intrude upon the general privacy of one's bathing time.
A wise choice that many do not understand. But go.
I Even here, common sense is not that common. Okay, fantastic.
One would think that common sense is common, but it does not come easily to the young.
I suppose you can just call that uncommon sense.
A rarity indeed.
If someone tries something, I'll see how long they can hold their breath.
Not long, but I trust you. I shall arrange to have new rooms set. Would you like to be paired, or would you like to have individual beds?
I suppose that's up to personal preference. I don't
Which
mind sharing.
Which would be the cheaper option?
They're not charging. It's more of a case of what's available.
Fair enough. I'm fine either way then.
In this case, if you're preferring the single beds, I will put you in the common bunk room. You will have to be in there with other people, but on the bright side, you do not have to share. It is a bit of an oxymoron, but a welcome one.
So that's shelter, or the matters of shelter and hygiene taken care of. I take it food will not come so easily.
Unfortunately, the concept of food does in fact cost money. But if you wish, you may go to one of the palaces and beg, or you are more likely to get luck at one of the churches. They will feed you for free.
I think we can make do with our meals for now.
Very well. I shall have things arranged. You will see your names written on paper in your beds. Please sign in so that we know that you are staying. And she pushes a book forward to you.
Q will write down the simple letter that is his name.
Yep, Jackson writes down his name.
Electrus writes down his.
Talia writes down something, but y'all can't tell what she wrote down.
Alright, Xerxes is going to write down his name. And, does anyone want to read what he wrote?
I can do perception if
Sure.
it's allowed.
You can roll me a perception.
Q kind of can't exactly help his eyes from just wandering in the general direction of the name. So I suppose that is a perception. No.
Oh boy.
You know what, Q, if you're being particularly nosy about it, I'll let you roll perception at advantage, but you have to make a performance check to make it seem like you're not peeking too much.
No, if he doesn't catch the name, he's not gonna pry any further.
Alright. I am going to send this to Talia and Jackson in DMs. Because, this is a little interesting tidbit. And there you go.
Okay.
Alright.
Alright.
Don't think too hard about it.
Huh?
But yeah, when that happens, Xerxes just looks to all of you. I don't know about you, but I want to get this glitter out of my hair.
No, that's
Very
fair.
understandable.
All right.
Once out of earshot of Imara and amongst the others, Talia's gonna speak up and just. There's no way to really tell what I am, is there? At least in terms of the sex.
I mean, I
Xerxes gives a
suppose it's up
shrug.
to preference.
Talia shrugs, just like, I've seen it all before, so if it's all the same to you, I don't think that they're gonna have much of a problem with me bathing in the same place. At least that way I know I won't have to rely entirely on myself to keep a knife out of, well, I'd say my ribs, but looks down at herself.
The goop.
A knife out of your proverbial ribs.
In fact, she thinks about it for a moment, and then you see the form shift and the protrusions that were kind of there, I guess, subconsciously just kind of like sink in. And it's just. I think that'll make it a little easier.
All right. So you guys make your way to the bathhouse, and this bathhouse is made out of it's a very like strong granite. So it's basically made to keep for a long time, and there's a few like separate rooms for men, women, and those who prefer not to specify. And I assume all of you go into the men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very much.
So, with it being, so to give a general idea, it's about 8 p.m. right now. And a lot of the people in the city are kind of like winding down and getting ready to go to bed, so there's not a lot of people like here at the moment. So you guys kind of have a moment to yourselves in the bath, and it's quite nice. They have oils and various soaps that you can clean yourself with, very fresh. And you just kind of have a moment of respite after all the craziness.
This water is oddly warmer than I thought it would be.
Y'all gonna watch as Talia seems to relax for a minute, and then ever so slowly the form changes until it's just a blorb with with the eyes still just kind of closed and just starting to kind of list across the surface of the water.
Why do I just feel like she starts melting on top of the water like a fried egg?
Ha.
Like she's not actually melting.
Q was about to kind of mutter the comment of, I suppose that's one way of melting into the water.
At least they're looking relaxed. That's a good thing. I guess.
Yeah. Q then looks towards Xerxes for a moment. Despite the prettiness that is going on over there, he still can't help but feel the slight pang of guilt from earlier, and scratches the back of his head and turns back to them and is like, "Hey, about earlier in front of the city gates, I'm sorry."
It's alright. I knew you were kind of overwhelmed.
Yeah, but I didn't mean to make you feel sad or anything.
I mean, Honest question, I don't look that bad, do I?
No, don't. You look great.
Alright, Q, are you currently blushing / acting bashful?
There is a an obviously slight blush on his face. He's trying to, keep composure.
Alright, roll me a performance check.
Nope. That is an awful performance.
Oh
Xerxes scooches over a little bit, and he puts... It's not really an arm, per se. Like, he's not getting up in your business, but he kind of, like, puts a hand on your back. It's just like, are you feeling alright?
Yeah, I'm fine-ish. I don't know. It's just a lot's happened. I don't know how to really feel.
I mean, same. We find out in one day that we've died, we were reincarnated by a, well, megalomaniacal god wannabe. We've been forced into his game, and now we're in a city that's completely foreign to us, all sitting in a bath naked.
Yeah, well, it's coming to accept the whole we died part. That's kind of taking its toll.
I'd offer you a hug, but I don't think this is the appropriate time.
I might lose whatever blood I still have left.
Are you sure you're going to be okay in a hot bath? I've heard that people who are, well, low on iron tend to pass out in hot baths.
Talia speaks up. If you're getting lightheaded, then you need to sit out with most of your body out of the water. Otherwise, you will just fall face first and then drown.
I come from a country where we literally go into a hot room to sit for minutes on end. I think I can handle a little hot springs.
Aye. But is this your same body that you had?
Well, no.
Then you should be careful. That's all.
Hey Q, what's your current weight?
Current weight, 187 pounds.
Okay, you feel as an arm wraps under your leg and the other wraps around your back. You're being scooped by Xerxes and set onto a towel on the side of the pool.
But I like the water.
You're clearly overheating.
Yeah, in more ways than one.
Savage!
Fine, I'll stay out of the water.
You can come back in when you've cooled down, and I can assure that whatever your heart's got going on isn't gonna explode in your chest. Or the blood won't leak out somewhere.
Hey, Jax.
Hmm?
You're gonna find a face full of water. squirted by Talia.
What was that for?
It's just I don't want to hear anything about someone having struggles when you still haven't gotten all that goddamn glitter out of your fur.
Yeah, it's not It's not as easy as you might think. Besides, He says as he kind of like is holding the gear, looking at the what's written on it. Been trying to figure out what this means. At least so that way we know where the hell we're going.
Someone with golden hair is going to be a point of interest.
You're gonna have to see them with your special eyes.
Special eyes.
That bit about the cold as ice in the ring, though, it's either literal or it's supposed to be some kind of deeper meaning, a metaphor of some kind.
That's
As
what I'm
best
trying
I
to
can guess.
That's what I'm trying to figure out, if there's anything specific with the writing. Back when I'm from, a lot of us like to use like different codes to try to keep certain information hidden. Trying to see if there's anything like that here, if it's just all verbatim.
Electris.
Kind of have to. Oh,
I was just going to see if Electris has anything to contribute to that.
Given the line with skin as cold as ice, is that... I'm wondering if that's hyperbolic or if it's... Because technically with his constitution, Q might fall into that.
Does Q have a ring?
That's when Electris looks over at him, just... Do you?
You do not.
Q. Yeah, Q holds up his hands as like, no, I didn't. When I died, I wasn't wearing any rings. And I'm not really, probably not going to be buying any rings anytime soon.
Q, roll me a
Eyebrow
perception
waggle.
check.
Oh god.
oh god.
Perception. I am fantastic at these.
Does someone want to offer him a cheese ball since it only lasts for one session?
I mean,
Doesn't he have the cheese ball?
Yeah.
I can use the cheese ball that I already have.
Do you want to use the cheese ball?
Why not?
Yeah, you see his
Better.
Xerxes' shoulders sag a little bit in disappointment.
I knew it!
Ah!
He waddles off into the middle of the pool and starts floating.
Q honestly can't help but quirk an eyebrow.
She's like,
It's like, what did I say?
Talia now
Just-
skipping a beat, just, if you bump into me, I'm squirting you.
What?
I'm going to
Xerxes.
refrain from my intrusive thought.
Let the intrusive thought win. Say it. Say it.
Xerxes would never say this aloud, but if Talia said that, his first response would be, "Oh my god, she's gonna pee!"
So, something I'd like to point out, if anyone notices, two things about Electris. First of all, he's kind of like rubbing at his chest, like over his heart. Like, not even entirely aware that he's doing it. And second, he's still wearing something around his neck. Something that he, like, when he disrobed, he didn't bother taking it off.
Oh my god, okay. Random player character including Xerxes as the rainbow roll. Okay,
Ah!
Let me get the dice.
Oh
Oh
boy.
no.
Oh no.
Color change.
Alright.
See, I've got that card, but I'm holding on to it for a funny time.
Jackson, you are now yellow.
Huh?
You just watch as your fur changes yellow.
Oh, what the fuck?
You are now a sand blonde fox.
Huh.
Kind of decides. Okay, is it just me or is this random shit that keeps on happening out of nowhere? Because
Well-
between the glitter and just kind of motions to his fur color, this, I have a feeling that something must be going on with that.
Well, if we're to believe what Asarak said, I think this might be his doing. If not, then I don't know whose.
Who the hell finds this entertaining?
I don't know.
You clearly haven't seen game shows from the early 2000s.
I've heard tales of that. They tried to bring back Jersey Shore. That failed. That really failed.
Mental note, add an option where the party can get slimed with Nickelodeon slime.
Oh Jesus.
See, I could explain...
Nobody puts Talia in a bucket.
I can explain the joke with the cards if y'all really want to.
Oh,
No,
boy.
it's funnier this way.
It's funnier this way, yeah.
In this case, I will keep it to myself. But, Eletris, your behavior has not gone unnoticed. Would you like Talia to take the reaction, or shall I send in an NPC?
I'll leave it up to you and Talia.
I'm good with the reaction if allowed. So because Talia is aware of the fact that, he experienced essentially shell shock as it was put, but, vision induced. You're going to feel a sensation of water kind of hitting the hand over your chest. It's a very small splash, enough to just get attention. Before the blorb floats over and then reforms into Talia, just minus certain protrusions. It just looks at him, and you just kind of see her, and it's not going to be a satisfying click, but you're going to see like she was trying to do like a click of the fingers to kind of like make sure that his attention and vision were still here. It's almost a squeaky sound.
Squeaky toy noise.
Am I to take this to mean that you're trying to get my attention?
I was trying to see if you were dissociated. I was trying to see if your mind was still here, or if you have another episode.
Eletris kind of takes his hand off of where his heart was, just kind of realizing that he'd been scratching at it a little bit. No, I'm still here. I don't know what happened earlier.
So she's gonna look down, and first things first, she is gonna notice kind of scratches on his chest from where he had been. They're like those pink irritated lines you get when you do like a mild scratch, but also whatever is around his neck. Would you care to describe it?
So what it appears to be is it's on like a simple like leather cord, and it appears to be a small disc of copper that has various like not necessarily crude, but it has like it looks like it was engraved by hand. It has what appears to be some kind of disc carved into it, with lines and angles kind of jutting outward from it. And then within it appears to be some kind of stone. It almost looks like an opal that has been chipped and polished to rest within a divot within the disc. And it appears to kind of coil on itself in the form, or in a form that almost appears snake-like.
Talia's eyes narrow a little bit, and the hand that had been, trying to click for attention kind of moves down to just tap lightly on the amulet and just, yeah, fond of snakes.
Eletris kind of like lifts up the uh the amulet, I guess we'll call it, and he just kind of looks at it for a moment, and he's just like, not particularly. This was just, well, I don't know why it's with me here, but this was the last thing that my mother left me when she died. I think it's supposed to be some kind of family heirloom, but it looks like something, I don't know, it looks like something that I guess my grandfather got it on like a trip to Mexico or something.
You say that, but she kind of pauses, tilts her head, I just think it's kind of interesting you have something like that and then have a reaction the way you did to a building that's shaped like a snake.
Yeah, I don't know. This, for some reason, and he's kind of like holding up the amulet, just like, this just feels right. It feels comforting in a way. It makes me feel like I can do something here, like more than I could in my past life, if that makes sense. I couldn't, I mean, you saw me heal someone. I couldn't do that in my old world. But for some reason with this, that feels possible. I don't know if it's a focus. I don't know exactly. Maybe there's a reason I'm supposed to have this. But with the ziggurat, it just, I had a vision that I was attacked by a snake. And it struck me right where, well, right where the knife did that killed me.
Talia's eyes are going to kind of narrow. Just, I'll tell you one thing. I'm not exactly. I'm trying to figure out how she phrased it. But it's just like, I've only had limited experiences with those who can see visions, and let me tell you, they were not pleasant ones. But I will say they should probably pay attention to them. More often than not, there is something pretty vital to be found with them, if you can make heads or tails of it.
Well, the tails seem to have rattles and the heads seem to have venomous fangs, so that's all I've been able to decipher from it.
There is an unimpressed expression on Talia's face. And you're going to see her offhand just kind of dip under the water and come back up rapidly to splash water upon your face. That was terrible, and you should feel terrible about it.
Just look, you're telling me that I should trust hallucinations, something that goes against everything I was taught in my old life. Let me cope.
It's just, if bad humor is your coping, then I'm gonna take whatever opportunity I can to cope with that.
You know, I suppose I can't fault you for that. And he's actually smiling a little bit at that.
Cute.
Seemingly satisfied, she goes to shift back towards the pool, but looking at Q for a moment, then takes a little bit of water and makes a point to splatter it towards him, like in a flicking motion.
What?
That way you're not missing out. At least until you cool off enough.
I think I've had more than enough time to cool off by now.
Sure about that?
I am very sure.
Why do I just have the mental image of, as Q's saying that, he just rolls sideways into the pool?
Into the pool right on top of Xerxes.
No.
Boy, Xerxes is in the middle, remember?
Who knows? He could have floated over there.
Q would have looked before rolling over.
I won't do that to you, I promise. Even though I'm tempted, I won't do it.
Ah,
You see, I almost was tempted to have Talia say something to Q, or just like, you're skinny enough to be something that I scraped off my boot when I had to do landings. But nah, I'm not that mean. I will say though, Jax, that mouth of yours, my dude, you're going to find more water launched.
what?
And this time,
The fuck?
it is a constant spray. As it turns out, Talia can take in the water from the bath, run it through her body, and deposit it out of one of the pseudopods.
It's gonna fucking drown this fucking man.
She's not doing it like in his mouth. She's like from the top. Just whoosh.
Oh god,
Like-
she's peeing.
This is my life now, I guess.
I didn't even have to send in a random encounter NPC. Y'all are hamming it up as this.
Ah. We're a
I
bunch
mean,
of
on the plus
hams.
side, it's helping with the glitter.
I don't think you can tell where the glitter is considering his fur color now, so unless that changed back.
The rule is that it lasts for 24 hours unless someone uses a spell on it.
Fair. Makes sense.
Oh man, but y'all wrap up what's probably been the most relaxing bath you've had in a long time, and I assume you all head back to the guild hall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Alright, does anyone want to do anything? Because this city does have a nightlife, as it were. But does anyone want to do anything, or do you guys just go to bed?
I could try to pickpocket for some money.
You're gonna get scruffed if you try to separate. Just like, look, you seem to have a little bit of a habit, shall we say?
It's not habit, it's called survival.
Aye, but here's the problem: if we're trying to present ourselves as decent folk trying to get coin, it's a little difficult to do that if you're caught. And if we have a little too much of convenient things suddenly popping up here and there. So let's see how the next day goes at the very least. Aye.
Alright, fair enough. It's just... people still seem to be active, so I mean, might as well just have a little stroll along the town. See if there's anyone worse pickpocketing, is all I'm saying.
I was gonna take a stroll around the city to get a bit familiar with the surroundings, mostly out of personal habit. I don't walk the roads myself. I hardly remember where to go.
I was going to see if I could I was going to check out some of the local restaurants and see if I could get an idea of some of the cuisine that's prepared here. I'm not familiar with every ingredient, so I'd like to see how it's used.
Okay. I'm going to be real with regards to Jackson and Q's thing. There's not much for me to say that won't be explained, like, next session kind of thing.
Okay.
All right.
But, as for Eletris, because that's a very interesting thing. Also, Moose, you get 1d4.
Hey!
Nice.
Ooh.
So you kind of the lucky thing is that you are in the culinary district, as it were, because it's right next to the meat market. So while the meat market is kind of closed up shop because things won't be fresh if they go through all night. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But you go through the various restaurants, and do you decide to sit down, or are you just kind of window shopping?
Like, he's kind of window shopping if there's kind of like a open kind of like if there's kind of like an open like seating arrangement kind of thing. He's just kind of like looking around to see if he can get a look like at the kitchen itself to see what's going on in there. Like, he's looking at the dishes, but he's also trying to see what he can make out of the preparation.
Okay. So a lot of the restaurants do not have an immediately visible kitchen, but you do find a nearby hole in the wall if you'd like to go in there.
Sure.
So this little hole in the wall, of all things, is a vegetarian restaurant. And you basically see a variety of spices and foods and gourds lined upon the wall. It's very quiet, with the exception of one peculiar looking man sitting at a table. In front of him is a little bowl that he pulls from, and he's pulling basically slices of different fruits and vegetables. And while you watch the kitchen staff kind of go about their time just preparing things, because there are like takeout orders and stuff like that, you observe as the man is taking notes. Would you like to take a closer look at him?
Sure. Though, I'm sorry, I had a quick joke. Like, he's gonna look, but before that, my brain just went like, if there are like to-go orders, or if there's like delivery, is it called Dino Dash?
Dino Dash!
I mean,
God damn it.
Dino Dash!
it is delivered by pterodons, so
I'm so sorry for derailing. He is going to observe the man.
alright, so you see a chiropteran-looking man. Basically, you haven't seen any of his kind out during the daytime, but now that the sun has gone down, you see that he has white fur with soft pink and orange hues, and he's dressed in purple and gold with blue gemstones, as he seems to be eating with one hand and taking notes with another. I will give you a handout.
Ooh.
All right.
Hmm.
Can I make out what he is writing?
Roll me a perception check.
May I use guidance?
You may use guidance on yourself.
I don't think it's going to help.
as you're trying to look at what he's writing, your stomach growls.
So yeah, he fails to see what was written, and his cover's been blown.
Yeah, you see as the bat-like man, like his ear flicks, and he lifts his head, but he does not look in your direction. And you come to realize that he is blind.
Just, pardon me, I'm not from around here, and my curiosity got the better of me.
You do not sound like the other creatures in this city.
No, I'm not from here.
Have you gotten lost?
In a manner of speaking, I suppose. Though it's more, I was taken.
I see. Do you require assistance?
Well, I suppose I'm trying to learn more about, well, everything around these parts, but something I wanted to learn more about was the food and how it's prepared so that, well, it's less likely for myself and my companions to go hungry.
I am a knowledgeable man of the scholarly arts if you have questions. Though with regards to the matters of food, I am afraid I am limited to fruits and vegetables.
I see. I noticed that this seemed to be a restaurant that specializes in vegetarian cuisine, something that, while not unheard of where I come from, it is more rare.
It is rare here as well. It is to accommodate the night folk, as it were.
Just, I don't believe I'm familiar with, well, like I said, I'm not from around here. I've never seen one such as yourself before.
It is difficult for many to see the night folk. We do not travel during the day. To see us flying at night would require eyes most special.
Well, then I suppose it was fortunate of me to catch you when you were not mid-flight.
To see me is one thing, to catch me is another.
Well, I do not intend to catch you or take up too much of your time. I'm simply, if you have information that can help myself and my comrades, well, in any way, it would be appreciated, so long as you're willing to provide it.
He gestures to the seat across from him, inviting you to sit down.
Eletris does so.
I heard your sound at the guild hall earlier today. Is this true?
Yes, that is, well, that is where we are staying until we can find work to better provide for ourselves.
I see. It would appear that my employer has brought more under her wing.
Your employer?
Yes. The lioness that runs the Sleeping Lion is my employer. She has brought me in on a matter of specialty.
I see. And what would be your specialty?
I am a master of the arcane. I study the peculiar, the histories, the rich nature of this land. Many people viewed my species as barbaric, but that is far from the truth. For our songs convey the history of this land 10 times over, while writing is long dead.
An arcane scholar, you say? You know, I have a question, and it's going to sound strange, but he basically takes off his amulet and puts it on the table. Would you? This isn't from here, at least I don't think it is, but would you be able to tell me anything about it?
You see as he picks it up in his hands and he feels the texture, and his eyebrows raise a little bit. How can you say this is not from here?
Because, well, it was something that my family had a long time ago, and they are from, well, somewhere very, very far from here.
This is a symbol of the sun god, a deity worshipped in this place.
Are you certain about this?
I am. My people, despite our inability to see within the day without severe visual impairment, understand the balance between the sun and the moon. We have given a great deal of, as we'll say, time into studying the two twin snakes and understanding their control and balance over this world.
Twin snakes, you say?
Indeed. Seeing as you came into this city, you must have passed by the ziggurat.
I did, as a matter of fact.
Your heart rate races. I sense you had a troubled experience.
Well, to be honest, when I saw the ziggurat, I think I had a vision.
A vision, you say? Of what, dare I ask?
There was blood, bodies strewn everywhere, and I was attacked by this giant snake. I felt it bite into my chest, and I felt my heart stop.
Most curious. Was the snake depicted in blinding light or darkened shadow?
It was most certainly the latter.
And so you have been given an omen by the god of death.
Oh, great. That's what we need, omens from gods of death.
At least, that is often what this means. But the tables have changed. Balances have shifted. You say that the snake targeted your heart, yes?
Yes, it did.
You watch as he removes his glasses, allowing you a clearer look at his blind eyes. Those who receive omens from Seth are not ones that have their heart attacked. He comes for their eyes, so they may be as blind as the darkness he brings.
Okay, so either this is a roundabout omen from him, or this could be something else.
How much do you know about the twin snakes?
Today is the first I've heard of them, if I'm going to be honest.
I would offer you my teachings if you wish.
Well, if I'm to expect more of these visions, I think that might be for the best, if it's not taking too much of your time, of course.
The night is young for me, and the one whom I am working under is sleeping right now. They have found themselves in a conundrum where they have overworked themselves, and so they rest. I have all the time that I wish to spend. But you wish to know about the twin snakes. And to know that, you must learn about the history of Cholt. You speak as if you are not from this plane at all. Is this correct?
Well, if I'm going to be honest, I'm not.
Then my ears were correct. Unlike those here whose souls ring with the sound of drums, your soul sparkles like stars. It is the softest of chimes, but also the most pained of cries.
My soul has a sound.
Indeed. Every soul, as it said, is a star, plucked from the sky and given life. When we die, that light returns, and it guides the way for others. I have never seen the stars, but I have heard them, and your soul is that of a cosmic entity. Or at least the sound is similar.
Okay. I'm going to be honest, I have no idea what to make of this.
I would not jump to conclusions so quickly. These are simply observations, not conclusions. But I am getting distracted. There is much history to be told, much more than the history that I can cover. But to give a brief idea of the twin snakes. There once was a great god, the god that presided over Cholt, the god Outta. Outta existed and created this continent long ago with other gods. He worked hard, his steps bringing the mountains, his fingers bringing the jungle trees, and his breath the sea winds. With his nails he dug out the caves for the bat folk and the kobolds and the dwarves. And with the wave of his arms he brought the clouds for the bird folk to dance among. However, there came a time where a usurper came to be and challenged Outta for his throne. Though the usurper was defeated for a time, Otta's personality was fractured. In order to defeat the usurper, he had to consume him. And he came to learn that the power of two gods was far too much. And so he split himself in two and gave birth to the twin-headed snake. At first, the snake was one, two heads gnashing at each other, one biting the other, in anger and envy. And so, what remained of Outta brought out his blade. He cut the snake in two once again, and the sun and the moon were born. The snake of which you saw in your vision was none other than Seth, the snake of the moon, of night, of dark, of death. And many tremble in his presence.
And that would make the other serpent the snake of the sun?
Indeed. It is the same snake which is upon your pendant.
All right, so the things that I can do now with... It's because of this? Because of this sun god?
It is quite possible. It is a holy relic, likely held by your ancestors if what you say is true. Ehekatl, the sun god, was one who smiled upon many. His domain was light, life, and beauty. Not to mention the arts and creation itself. He focused on bringing blessings and kindness to his people, and those who worshipped him gained prosperity.
So, what happened to him? I mean, he kind of gestures, like he's tempted to say, "You've seen the state of the sun," but just you know the condition of the sun here, right?
I do. Not by my own sight, mind you. But I know that it is crescented like the moon. But it was not like that for a while. It has only become so in recent time.
So, did... I still have so many questions. Did something happen to him? Is there a way for me to communicate with him?
Have you ever attempted prayer?
Well, no.
I cannot say what has happened to the sun god, for I have not seen him. I was blinded from birth, and thus never granted the chance to see his presence. But I did hear something when the new usurper came.
And what did you hear?
I heard a cry out of pain.
A cry of pain. Could it have been the sun god?
It is possible, yes. The death or injury of a god rattles an entire world. I did not see it myself, but for 5 seasons there was nothing but cold.
And this new usurper, was this the moon god, or was this something else?
I could not say. I have spoken with the priestesses of the temple on this matter, but their determination to figure out what it is seems hesitant, to say the least. But the tale of the day that the sun shattered is definitely a curious one. One that even I struggle to comprehend.
Okay, so the sun shattered. People seem reluctant to talk about it or find out what happened, or perhaps they know, but they're refusing to speak about it. And somehow a family heirloom that I had from another world is actually religious iconography from this world.
The reason for people's fear is that they know what the Great Spider does. He watches with his many eyes and listens to what we say. Many suspect that he is the one to blame.
Okay. If someone were to look for answers about this sun god, do you think that might be a means of, well, my companions and I returning to where we came from? To beating the spider's game?
It is possible. I do not speak this opinion lightly, but ever since the sun was shattered with the comet arrow, I fear that this world may be dying. I have heard things that are not natural for a world.
Okay, sun god dies, bad things happen. Got it. All right, so my entire worldview has been rocked a little bit.
If it is true that you are one of the ones that the spider brings, it would make sense that your world has changed.
Well, I guess that doesn't mean my world has changed. It just means I'm not in my world. I need to get back to my world.
What awaits you when you return home?
Well, for one thing, not a jungle full of poisonous plants and who knows what else that can kill us. There's no, well, there are usurpers, but those are usually ones that can be voted out of office, usually.
Hmm. It sounds akin to the merchant princes. Think not so highly of the world that you come from if it truly is as you say.
I don't think highly of it, but there's a far greater chance of survival and making something for myself there than here.
Hmm. It could be so, yes. I sense far greater things will come of you in this place than you expect.
Just, well, I guess I'm gonna have to do great things if no one's ever finished this challenge.
Some never bothered.
Well, looks like I better get bothering then.
You have made the right choice by starting at the guild hall. Perhaps if you wish to learn more or need more assistance, you may find me when I am working with the smith. They too may have insight to your plight.
All right. And who is the smith?
They are one that goes by many names. I know them as Franklin, but you are best to introduce yourself properly when they are available. Perhaps once you have earned your keep in this city, they will speak with you.
Okay. Earn my keep. Find Franklin the smith.
Now, this has been quite the enlightening conversation. May I treat you to dinner as thanks for this talk?
Ordinarily, I would decline putting you out, but I mean, you heard that a moment ago.
Very well. If vegetables are not to your taste, we can go somewhere else.
No, I've had my share of vegetarian dishes. I honestly came here to see how some of them were prepared. You see, I used to be a chef.
And you wish to learn how to cook here?
Yes, well, if it's something that I can do to help out the group, then yes, it's something I'd like to pursue.
Your generosity is most appreciated. I see why the sun god favors you.
Well, I don't know if I'm worth favoring, but if I can make some good food here that can bring these people some comfort, then I think that's worthwhile.
In due time, you will see your worth. And that's what we're going to call it today.
Ooh.
I
Ooh.
am loving the intrigue on multiple counts. It's very nice.
I put so much effort into it. I did so hard work.
I mean, it shows.
Tis very interesting.
But for the sake of posterity, for those tuning in on the YouTube side, so thank you all so much for watching. I hope everybody is enjoying the series so far, and if you did, like, subscribe, comment, blah blah blah. And we will see you for the next episode of Tomb Out of Time.
I am so excited.